Hi, Danielle with Safe Routes to School here. I am going to be teaching your next lesson, which is lesson 2. And this lesson is called Why We Ride, or Why Biking is Awesome. So in this lesson, we are going to talk about why you might choose to ride a bike and why biking is awesome. Okay. So our question for the lesson is, why do you like to ride your bike? What reasons do you like to choose to ride a bike? Now, when we are needing to leave the house and go somewhere, we have to figure out how to get there and how do you get to where you want to go. We have several different options, several different types of transportation. We can ride our skateboards or our scooters. We can drive our cars. We can ride our bikes, or we can walk. Each one of these forms of transportation comes with its own positives and negatives, and there's a reason why we might want to take one form of transportation over the other. Today, we're going to talk about why you would choose to ride a bike. So first off, when we are getting out on the roads and we are riding our bikes, there is some fear associated with riding our bikes, specifically getting into a crash with a car, right? But there are also some really great, amazing reasons why you might want to ride a bike. Also, because you guys are taking this class, you are learning about how crashes happen and how to avoid them. And hopefully that will kind of assuage some of your fears that you have about riding a bike. Okay, so how does biking help you? How does biking help the world? Some of the top reasons that people like to ride a bike have to do with, one, it's exercise. And when you exercise, it actually helps improve your brain, which is your mind. M for mind. Helps improve your mind. Makes you feel good too, actually. When you are riding a bike, you are creating no pollution, so that helps Mother Earth. If you ride a bike, you are very mobile, which means that you can kind of get around town very easily. If you are walking, you're a little less mobile. If you're needing to rely on a parent to drive you places, that makes you less mobile too. So you have a lot of freedom if you are able to ride your bike. Riding your bike also builds muscle, which is great. And you save money. Awesome reasons to ride a bike. Now, a lot of people, their top reason for riding a bike is to get exercise. What's really great is that not only are you getting exercise, but you're also getting to where you need to go, and it's making you feel good, and it's fun, right? People choose to ride a bike because they have to commute places either every day or a couple of times a week or a couple of times a month. Commuting is when we go somewhere over and over again throughout the course of the week or the month. And choosing to ride a bike is a great way of commuting because you get your exercise and you get to work and you get to school while you are getting exercise. Bike commuting is very popular across the globe. We've got some bike commuters here in Santa Rosa. We've got lots of bike commuters in places like Portland, Oregon. And in Europe, they commute so much by bike. They love biking so much that so many people commute that their bike lanes become almost like highways, which is pretty cool. We do have to find a way to fit biking into our daily routines. And the best way to do this is kind of to think about all of the places that are about within 2 miles from your house, which is a pretty bikeable distance. It takes you about 10-20 minutes to ride a bike 2 miles. Now, 40% of the time when we leave our house and go somewhere, it's under 2 miles. So 40% of the trips that we take in our daily lives could be easily biked in. Now think about maybe places that you go to quite often that you can take a bike instead of taking a car, like school or the park or your friend's house. Right? Here's some fun bicycle commuting statistics. When you ride a bike, you save money. You don't have to put gas in a bike, which is pretty awesome. It's good for your health because it is exercise. And it is good for the environment. So about 60% of Sonoma County's total carbon dioxide emissions are due to transportation, which would be cars, trucks, buses, and things like that. With every mile you ride on a bike instead of driving a car, you can prevent about a pound of greenhouse gas emissions from entering the atmosphere. That is pretty awesome. So when we say that it's good for the planet for you to ride a bike, that's what we're talking about. Well, just in case you have forgotten what a greenhouse gas is, a greenhouse gas is a type of natural gas that we find on our planet, and it helps regulate the heat on our planet. And it does some other things too. So the most common greenhouse gas would be carbon dioxide. If you breathe out, you're breathing out carbon dioxide. We breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide, which is awesome because when we breathe out carbon dioxide, the plants and the trees and the flowers, they absorb that carbon dioxide. And as they grow, they release oxygen for us to breathe. Okay? Some other types of greenhouse gases that we find out there: methane, nitrous oxide, and some other minor gases. Okay, we're going to pause right there and we're going to do our action item. Today, our action item is going to be to do some calf raises. And this is something, it's a part of your body that you really exercise a lot when you are riding a bike. So let's do some calf raises here. All right, so first, feel your calf muscles. How do they feel? Do they feel hard or are they soft? Okay. To do calf raises, it's pretty easy. You guys are just going to stand up and then go on your tippy toes and come back down. Tippy toes and come back down. You should be able to feel the, those calves, a little bit of tension in there. Should be able to stretch them out like this. Okay, keep going. Maybe go a little bit faster. And keep going, keep going. And we're good. Okay. So we were talking about greenhouse gases earlier, and the reason why we want to reduce our greenhouse gases is that they contribute to things like climate change or global warming. So we're going to talk about what that is and how we can fix it. Just as a, just so that you know, climate change and global warming mean the same thing. You've probably heard those two terms before, but they are referring to the same phenomenon, which is the warming of the planet. Okay, so how this is an issue for us. So first off, let's just the basics, right? So our planet sits in front of the sun, and the sun shines its warm heat on our planet. And our planet is so cool, it can take the heat from the sun, get to the perfect temperature for life on Earth. And then if there's any extra heat, it then shoots it right back out into outer space. Woohoo! Yeah, pretty awesome planet. Now, if there's too many of those greenhouse gases in our atmosphere, and here's the atmosphere, is this layer of gases that surrounds our planet. It also helps regulate the temperature of our planet. When there's too many greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, then the Earth cannot release that extra heat. It gets stuck and trapped in those gases. Greenhouse gases come from a variety of sources. The main ones are here, which is residential and commercial, which would mean making of electricity. So when we make electricity, that releases fossil fuels out, or excuse me, that releases greenhouse gases out into our atmosphere. Industry, so that would be the factories that make the things that we use, like cell phones and toothbrushes and clothes and everything. About 28% or a third is simply coming from us driving our cars. So when you're riding a bike, you make a huge difference because you're not creating any of those greenhouse gases when you're riding a bike. A small amount, about 10%, is coming from agriculture, which would be mainly from us raising animals to eat. Fun fact, Cows are probably the biggest contributor of methane, greenhouse gases, and how that works is about 95% of it comes from cows breathing and burping, but 5% of that methane is actually coming from cows farting. There is additional methane coming from cows from their poop, just sitting out in the sun, releasing methane into the air. Now, like I said earlier, these greenhouse gases, they are trapping heat. And if they are trapping too much heat, it's like we've put a sweatshirt over the planet. And the planet is hot because it's sitting in front of that sun and it's used to being able to shoot that extra heat out, and it can't because it's covered in like a sweatshirt. So think about if you were outside sitting in the hot sun and you had a sweatshirt on, what would you do if you got too hot? You'd take that sweatshirt off. The way we can take the sweatshirt off the planet is by reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. And a awesome way, a very effective way of doing that is by riding our bikes. And again, riding your bike is great because not only are you helping to fix problems like climate change and global warming, but you're keeping the air clean because there's no pollution when you ride your bike too. And that makes the earth happy. When the earth is happy, we are happy. Now, one last thing I'd like to go over with you guys is biking for fun and for recreation. People choose to ride a bike simply because it's just fun. So you can ride a bike to go mountain biking, you can go ride with your friends, you can, take bike trails. There's groups all over the place of people that just come together so that they can ride together around town because it's so much fun. There's even something called bike touring. So bike touring is when you travel by bike for vacation. So if you could bike, you could hop on your bike today and go anywhere in the world, where would you go? Okay, that is our lesson for today. I will see you in a new lesson later on. But for now, bye-bye.